Welcome to the Rapid Recap. I'm Kyle Klingman of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum, along with Andy Hamilton of Trackwrestling.com. First episode is with museum namesake Dan Gable, 1972 Olympic champion and 15-time NCAA championship coach for the University of Iowa. I want to get Iowa State in there, two-time NCAA champ for Iowa State. Big dual meet with one of your athletes, Tom Ryan, wrestled Penn State University, Ohio State versus Penn State, 1 versus 2. Penn State came out with a 19-18 win. Your thoughts on that dual meet?
It was a great dual meet. The atmosphere was good. I mean, Kale's, he does some right things. I mean, maybe they're not the best for the sport, but maybe it is the best for the sport when he wins. And he helped set it up. I know there was conflict with where you had the event, but that's pretty tight-knit area there, and it could have made some people nervous. And I think if you looked at the 197-pound match, I felt that the guy was kind of drained before he stepped out on the mat. Just by looking at him, he didn't have the same motion. Yeah. He didn't have a lot, so you sit there. And I was just talking about this the other day, and I said, when you get confined in an area, I think the coach should get you out of there. I don't know where he was at, but I would put him in the locker room or somewhere, or anybody, until it's their time to wrestle. When you're surrounded by mostly not the enemy, but the team that the folks that wants you to get beat.
Everyone's talking about Ohio State and Penn State. Missouri is undefeated right now. Andy, talk about their season right now and what they look like going forward as far as potential at the NCAA championships.
Just year after year, they seem to field a really solid dual team. 1 through 10, they we had Brian Smith on the mat a couple weeks ago and talked about their evaluation and development. They seem to you never find Missouri at the very top of the recruiting rankings, but you always find Missouri in the top 5, it seems like. So year after year, they're finding diamonds in the rough, they're developing guys, and this is no exception.
Spencer Lee is a guy that everyone wants to talk about, true freshman that came out, beat the returning runner-up in Ethan Lezak 15-0. Your thoughts on Spencer Lee and what he's brought to the Iowa program?
Oh, he's really good. I mean, he's really has the potential there, but he's making it a little bit more difficult for him right now, just because he's showing us some signs out there that maybe people have some hope. And with that in mind, he probably could be finishing people off. Now he's going to have to re-wrestle them again. So, he's going to have to prove himself.
Thoughts on Spencer Lee?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's interesting, what we've seen so far, this was his first Friday-Sunday turnaround. We saw in back-to-back days at the Midlands, he suffered his only loss, right? So on day 2. So how does he work those kinks out? What happens in the third period? Can he get over that hump? I mean, he wrestled a tough 7-minute match against Nathan Tomasello, but he has been burying people for the most part in the first period, coming out scoring 8-10 points or more. So can he break through that barrier in the third period, because he's going to face some day 2 and day 3 weigh-ins coming down the pipe here in March? How will he handle those? And on the flip side, can guys slow him down a little bit in the first period and not dig themselves such a hole? I think that's going to be really fascinating to follow throughout the rest of the season.
We'll end with this. Euregan tournament, international wrestling is kind of a hot item right now. You wrestled in the Tbilisi tournament, but of course you didn't get any coverage at the time. Pretty great that we get to see overseas wrestling like the Euregan tournament on Track Wrestling.
No, it's really great to be able to bring it here, be able to have more of the world to watch it. But I did get some coverage there, because on the way home, before we went home, they had the banquet, and the Russian people got up and spoke in Russian that they were vowed to beat me, and that actually picked up on world news, and so it came back. But he had to do something extraordinary to pick it up to do that, and that's what we want to do in wrestling more. We want to be extraordinary, and a guy like Snyder, and you put him all over the world, and we've got to get some more good press.
Thanks to Dan Gable and Andy Hamilton for our first edition of the Wrestling Recap, Rapid Recap, excuse me. We'll have another edition next Monday. I'm Kyle Klingman of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Dan Gable Museum. Thanks for watching.